So I just watched the latest bullshit involving Frank Somerville and KRON. And the headline is exactly as it's intended. KRON uses Frank Somerville, and Somerville uses KRON. Let me tell you something. I know Frank Somerville fairly well. Haven't spoke to him for a while, but when all the Frank Somerville drama began in earnest, almost 2 years ago now. It was May of 21 when Frank started going Michigan and getting crazy and drinking. And it wasn't just the drinking, it was the combination of sleeping pills, as he may have said, and other prescription drugs that he was using, combined with the alcohol, which was pretty much beer, as I remember, because I used to have a few with Frank. Frank is a troubled man. And the reason why there is so much bullshit in this latest interview with KRON, and I'll get to that, why it's specifically KRON giving him airtime, is Frank is in denial. He's in complete denial. Again, I don't wish anybody, the kind of drama and self imprisonment mentally wise of what is taking place. I've been there, not as bad as that with Frank. I had a brother who was chemical dependent, who had alcohol issues, who had drug issues. So I know all about that. I've experienced prescription drug and alcohol issues myself, and I've gotten help, and it's never over. It's an everyday occurrence, although I'm pretty much given up drinking. Haven't really drank much for over a year. But what I'm angry about, quite frankly, is the fact that Frank is talking to Pam Moore, of all people, about putting everything in the past tense. He had a relapse last June where he was behind the wheel, and this was almost a year after the fact that he was in his Porsche and he almost killed somebody. Could have killed somebody. And he's using phrases in this latest interview, which you could probably go to KRON. Probably. It's already, I'm not going to plug it in terms of putting a link up. If you go to KRON, you can watch it. He's putting it in on the back burner as if it was something that he dealt with and it's yesterday. And how he referred to having a backpack and putting the problems that he had in his backpack and putting it away, using all these cliches. How he's lost weight, instead of going to get drinks, he now works out. He's been working out for 30 years. And that's one thing. And then KRON. This is what you're going to do. You're going to be the Frank Somerville rehabilitation tour media outlet. Frank is trying to rehabilitate himself more so that he can once again work. You know, when he had his first issue on the air and slurring his words and being obviously under the influence of a whole bunch of things we didn't know much at the time, he told me that he was not taking any drugs per se, that they were sleeping pills, Ambien. Well, if there had been a situation where he'd been clean, his whole rehabilitation tour, and this was before the first KRON interview, Frank wants to work again. In his own mind, he thinks he could be an anchor again. He's not going to be an anchor in the Bay Area. At a time, he may have earned up some goodwill, perhaps to get a job, maybe in Sacramento or Fresno or some outside the Bay Area, probably out of the state of California, small market where conceivably could have shown some good behavior and track record and perhaps get back to probably not the Bay Area because, that thing on the air is never going to go away. We have what's called the internet now, and it shows the state that he was in. And then the subsequent issue with the car driving into that restaurant and could have killed somebody in Oakland. And then not that much time later on June 6th, of being again just totally fucked up and having two more DUIs. Again, that's part of my issue now. But the real issue now is watch this latest interview with Pam Moore. Retired Pam Moore. He's in denial. He wants to work again. He's using these phrases that any recovery addict who's is in denial will tell you. Time. Frank Somerville, again, he's trying to make it seem as if he's past all of this. You're never past it. That's why they always say one day at a time. And even if you use catchphrases like sometimes 1 hour at a time, fine, Frank, all the little slogans and all that, but you're in denial. And what really makes this stink to high heaven again is the fact that you got KRON using him as if not to be embarrassed by the fact when Pam did that interview with him about a year ago, how he was saying all these slogans again, that he's over it and that part of me doesn't exist anymore. And then to have a relapse and then another one. And to basically not only BS himself, but the rest of the world in the Bay Area and KRON. And all they want is to get publicity off of this. And they'll get another day's worth of news. That's about it. They're using one another. They really are. And notice none of the other stations are going to talk about this. And KRON's going to get some industry recognition about this latest interview, myself included. And I'm going to call out KRON. They look just as needed and addictive as Frank Somerville is. But listen to Frank. Frank, just go away for a while. Really, get your help. I'm glad that you seem to be doing better. But Frank, every time you have a relapse, and then again, it's like you have a co-addict, a television station in this case. And Pam Moore probably got a help from a friend at KRON who used to work at KTVU, wink, wink, aiding and abetting this guy. And he looks silly. I've lost 25 pounds. That's great. I don't even drink anymore. I go work out. Frank, you've been working out for 30 years. God bless you. And for KRON, again, you're just as guilty and just as ugly as Somerville is for giving this guy a forum. I know most of you out there are not gullible enough to believe this. You're going to watch it like I did. And I've got people sending me all these emails and notes. Hey, Frank's on KRON again. Frank's got to get help. Frank's got to get help and think about himself. And he's crying about his family. Well, I'll tell you what, get your life back together. Don't use a television station, for God's sakes, to give out the BS, which is what it is right now. It's BS. It just makes you look more pathetic, Frank, and it makes KRON look what they really are seeking, and that is some publicity. Their latest ratings or what have you are in the toilet. So I guess this is going to give them another day or two. Notice no other station is pushing this. KRON sucked up. Frank went to them, said, "Hey, let's do another interview," and KRON acquiesced. And here's what you have. Again, if you go to their, I'm not going to plug it, but you know where to see it, right? And it's just, it's kind of gross if you ask me. And I guess I'm in a way an enabler myself because I'm talking about it and reacting to it. But I'm giving you something that no other outlet's going to give you, and that is this is complete bullshit. And I haven't looked, but I'm sure the Chronicle or SF Gate and other outlets are like SFist and the Bang newspapers are going to provide another plug. And they're going to talk about Frank Somerville is opening up again. Again, I have no ill feelings toward Frank. He's kind of a weird guy, and I'm not, weirdness has nothing to do with his addiction and his issues. But I saw it, I watched this latest iteration, and I said to myself, again, I've lived it, not like that, to that extreme. I had a brother, I had an alcoholic father, and it's just like I said, it's gross. And the fact that this TV station, in their thirst for ratings and to get a one-day story again, be an enabler to Mr. Somerville, it's pathetic. It really is. It's disgusting. And I hope you see through it. And if you haven't, by watching me, you'll see through it and watch this because it's shame on both of them. Again, no ill feelings towards Frank. I know too much in somewhat that regard. And KRON, I mean, my God, KRON, are you that desperate? I guess you really are. Anyway, I'm Rich Lieberman. This is YouTube. Thank you for watching. If you want to email me, it's rich.lieberman@gmail.com. I'm on virtually every day on YouTube, and I do write blogs on 415 Media. Please contribute to my cause, which enables me to give you the kind of spin like this that is no spin. Have a good Thursday. See you soon.